Hello, my name is Valentina Carbone, professor at ESCP Europe and co-director of the Deloitte Chair on Circular Economy and Sustainable Business Models. We will talk about the sustainability or unsustainability threats of the fashion and textile industry. Let's start to depict the main features of this industry, which is basically built on a widely spread paradigm which can be defined as the linear economy, relying on take, make, and dispose. Why this system is unsustainable and why we need to rethink a new type of organization for this industry. Let's start with the take. In the textile and fashion industry, every year about 53 million tons of fibers are extracted to be transformed into garments. What type of fibers are we talking about? Two mainly fibers. The most widespread is synthetic fibers built out of plastic, biofuel-based, let's say oil-based, so I don't need to mention the environmental externalities of this type of fibers. And the second is cotton. Cotton has a more friendly image, but still we have a lot of water consumption. Just to mention, in India, 50% of the water usage is devoted to the growing of cotton. And on the top of that, cotton only occupies 2.5% of the arable land all over the world, but it consumes up to 17% of pesticides and fertilizers. Let's move now on to the make part. I will give you two references to have a look at. The first one, if you have not yet seen it, is the True Cost of Fashion, 2015 documentary, which illustrates both the environmental issues, but especially the social bad conditions, especially of people working in the sweatshops for global brands, mainly in Bangladesh, Vietnam, and East Asian countries. And then you also have this unfortunately very well-known catastrophic event, the Rana Plaza, where thousands of people lost their lives due to insecure working conditions in the same locations. Let's move on the usage. What can we regret in the usage part? First of all, recent studies have shown that an average life cycle for fast fashion garment is less than 1 year. And second, whenever we use and wash our clothes, we release the microfibers, which go directly into our ocean. It is the same thing of the microplastic, microbeads for other products. What happens when we get rid of our garments? What happens with the disposal step? Unfortunately, up to 73% of the garments which are dismissed go to landfill or incineration. Only 12% is taken back into a reverse loop. But what type of reverse loop? Less than 1% goes into a closed loop. What does it mean? It means that we are able to produce out of a gene another gene. That means a product with the same value. Otherwise, we downgrade the value. So we can produce fibers, isolation fibers out of garments. And so this is destruction of value. So I think now it's clear that this linear economy, based on the assumption that there are limited resources available for us, and based on the assumption that the nature is able to contain of our waste production, calls for a renewing if we want the fashion industry be sustainable in the long term. Let's try to see which are the new initiatives or what type of initiatives are emerging across the world. I would say that there are two types of actors. First of all, startups, platform-based initiatives, also fueled by the digital innovations. And then you have the big brands, which are also investing research and developments and other type of actions which are very present in the media, and we have seen them as consumers, with our consumer's eyes. Let's start with the first approach that I want to share with you. The first one is closing the loop. What do we have here as initiatives? We have initiatives both in the upstream part of the chain and in the downstream part. For the upstream part, I refer to the design of the product. So you can have brands like Patagonia. They design product to last, and they give you long life guarantee for the product they sell. Or you can have initiatives after that you have used your own products, that is about recycling. Nowadays, a lot of research projects are being developed to move from the mechanical recycling, which is quite aggressive for fibers, towards new approaches more based on chemical-based initiatives. So this is for the closing the loop, which is a bit the traditional view of circular economy. But circular economy is not only about recycling. The most innovative levers of circular economy lay in intensifying the usage and keeping the product as long as possible in usage in the economy. And so this brings me to the second approach, which is the slowing the loop. How can we slow the loop? We can have long-lasting product, like the example with Patagonia that I just gave you before, a few minutes before, but also we can intensify the usage of products, not by a unique consumer, but through sharing. For example, lending, renting, leasing products. One example, Y Closet in China, they rent you on a fee subscription-based certain number of garments. You use them for a while, give them back, and you take new lots of garments for keeping on using them. So these are some of the examples to slowing the loop. And these are interesting because they call for renewing arrangements between retailers, producers, designers, and also need an involvement of consumers as a prosumers. And this idea of prosumers brings me to another set of initiatives which are based on sharing economy platforms. Again, digitally enabled initiatives put in contact consumers that may sell second-hand products, especially luxury one, and they also need to track and trace these products because they have a high value. And for example, in France, we have Vestiaire Collective, which has developed a very sophisticated logistics to track the product, identify counterfeiting, quality of products, and then they ship it back to the new user and the new consumer. Let's finish with big brands. What are they doing? For sure, they are investing in research and development. Every big brand has produced new shoes out of plastic bottles or a jean out of the waste of the ocean, wherever you recognize this brand I'm mentioning. Most fast fashion brands like H&M and Zara have take-back programs. They collect garments, but they give you vouchers to keep on feeding the linear model. So the question is, are these interesting initiatives to increase awareness about the importance of recycling only communication tools, or are they experimentation fields that then will lead to the scale up of this niche business? This question is not yet answered, but is really urgent to answer it to evolve towards a more sustainable fashion industry. Thank you.